weeks until Christmas, which means 'tis the season for Christmas ads. Sainsbury's released the first of its trio of Christmas ads recently, which displayed a black family. Everyone who was offended by the idea of black people liking gravy took to Twitter to tell Sainsbury's that they would be boycotting the store. So I wanted to ask you, what are your favourite Christmas ads so far? And do we like the Sainsbury's ad or not?
My favourite Christmas ad so far this year would probably be the Sainsbury's ad. I've seen a few here and there, but I kind of just like the way that it was shot and like the whole concept behind it. It was really kind of like my bag. I like things like that. But usually Christmas adverts I'm kind of regular. Like I just usually like the Coca-Cola Christmas advert. Like it's just like when you see the Coca-Cola advert, you know it's Christmas. Or sometimes I like the John Lewis Christmas adverts. They sometimes do like really fun ones. And once they did one like years ago, I don't know if you remember, about like older people who don't have family, about supporting them during Christmas. And it was always like my favourite one. It was like this man on the moon on a bench. I just enjoy it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And what was the second part of the question, Luanda? Sorry, I've completely forgotten.
Girl, you think I should really know, huh? Oh, did you like the Sainsbury's? But you already answered it because you said that it was your favourite.
I really enjoyed the Sainsbury's ad. And I know a lot of people were thinking it was just like they were just doing it to kind of give us something. But I quite enjoyed it. And I liked that they were trying to do something different and take their advertising into a different place. Of course, I know it got a lot of backlash, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm one of those people that love Christmas. I really enjoy Christmas, but I know there's some people who like diehard fans. But I'd probably say my favourite adverts, like number one, I've got like three. Number one is the Coca-Cola advert where the van is going through like a small town and then they ring the Christmas bell and then you just hear holidays are coming. I love that advert. They show it every year. I think it's just so festive and I just think I just love the tone of it. I don't know why. And I don't drink Coca-Cola, but it's very, very good marketing. I also like John Lewis's advert that came out about 2 years ago. And it was the one about the little boy who was just so excited for Christmas. And he had the calendar and he kept marking it down and he started getting frustrated. He's like, oh, when's it coming? And you're thinking it's because he wants his present. But on Christmas Day, he walks in with this like badly wrapped present to give to his parents that he'd obviously been waiting the entire month to give, and that one chokes me up emotionally. And for some of my older people out there, you were going to remember the Yellow Pages advert about the little boy who was trying to kiss the girl under the mistletoe, but he couldn't reach her, so then he stood on the Yellow Pages and managed to give her a Christmas kiss. So
that sounds cute.
You have to watch it. And I knew you weren't going to remember it, Anissa, because that advert literally came out when I was about like 8 or 9, so it was a long time ago. But I really love the thought that they put into Christmas adverts. And even though they're trying to advertise, a lot of the time it's about a message of togetherness and bringing together. And I think that's why it was so disappointing, the backlash that they got from the Sainsbury's advert. Because you're like, I could not understand what was offensive about it. Like,
For real. Did you, so that's, again, you like the advert, right?
I love the advert. Like, Sainsbury's says they did 3 adverts, right? And in terms of like, let's say, were the adverts like perfectly pitched, or do we think that Sainsbury's was trying to be too woke? I don't know. That's something I would ask you ladies, because I thought the advert was perfectly pitched. It was about showing home videos. I thought Sainsbury's was really innovative in the fact that chances are we might not be able to film with each other. So pulling out this concept of the old family videos, and then you're having the conversations overlaid over the adverts and hearing people talk about what Christmas means to them. I think it worked so well. And I was just confused. So when I saw the backlash before I saw the adverts, because guys, I have Sky. Right. I don't watch adverts. Do you know what I mean? I don't watch adverts anymore. I'm just like this.
That's why we're talking about our favourite Christmas adverts, and we're barely mentioning things from 2020 because no one watches adverts in 2020.
I don't watch TV.
Exactly. So I don't really watch adverts. So when it came to this advert, I was like, let me see what all the backlash is about. When I saw it, I'm like, there was nothing race related in this. They weren't talking about no jerk chicken gravy. The man, he was pouring like some basic bisto. I don't care what anyone tells me. That weren't no flavoured up gravy. So for me, I'm like, I don't understand what we're taking offence at. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I really liked the advert as well. It didn't offend me. I thought that it was great. Like, I didn't think much of it at all until the backlash happened. Like, when I saw the advert again, Sophie, I like the things that you liked about it. The fact that they worked in Corona and it was a phone conversation, and clearly they had to think of how are we making our Christmas adverts these years while still adhering to social distancing guidelines. The only thing that I would say is that I thought that Sainsbury's had like one foot in and one foot out of their response to the backlash, because initially I thought that, okay, they're saying all the right things. Clearly the people that are tweeting, that are replying, have been brilliantly briefed as to what to say to these people. But at the same time, they said that they have a trio of advertisements, and obviously it was supposed to be released throughout the Christmas period. And so the second one, Perfect Portions, which features a white family, was not originally, I presume, this is my theory, was not originally supposed to come so quickly after Gravy Song, which had the black family. So it felt like, on the one hand, Sainsbury's are tweeting saying we plan to be the most inclusive retailer and making jokes about gammon inspired by Munya. And then on the other hand, 48 hours after you released the advertisement with the black family, in the midst of the backlash, that was the height of the backlash, you posted the Perfect Portions with an all-white family. Who even knows if that was number 2? It could have even been number 3. You posted that and then you pinned it to your timeline, because whilst you're telling me that you want to be the most inclusive retailer, you're also still intimidated by racist people saying that they're going to boycott your stores. So I just kind of wish that they took that step towards inclusivity and stood firmly in that, instead of kind of like backpedaling, it seemed like to me a little bit.
Do you know what, Anissa? I mean, Luanda, I think you're being a little hard on them. I do. Because, like, wasn't it Sainsbury's that just came out with that one for Black History Month, and then they got the backlash for that as well, if I'm correct? I think they did.
I've missed it. I can't.
I think it was them.
So yeah, Sainsbury's came out something for Black History Month, and they got the same sort of vitriol. Now, I'm not saying that what you're saying in terms of bringing up the timeline is incorrect, because I think definitely they've probably done some very key damage control. But I think at least Sainsbury's is willing to step out of the box just a little bit. And I think you're right. Sometimes it's not enough. And maybe we're saying we shouldn't be deserving. We're not asking for crumbs. We should get the whole damn cake, because we've been here for centuries and this is the sort of representation we get at Christmas adverts. So I definitely hear that. But I think when you see like Tesco on the flip side, I don't know if you saw about, there was a black model and she was saying that she feels she got pulled from a Tesco advert after this Sainsbury's backlash. And she was saying she was so excited to be in the advert because it was the first time she had ever been put with a black man to represent her husband. She'd always been put with a white man, and this was the first time that she actually saw a couple that would represent what she sees in her community. Then after the Sainsbury's thing, Tesco edited their advert, and she was just like, you did this because of Sainsbury's, and she went off on Tesco's, and it was in the media, and they were like, oh no, it's just, it didn't work for us, our media company, they came with all these excuses. So I think Sainsbury's should get a little bit of credit for actually trying, because they did the Ramadan advert as well, and a lot of retailers aren't even willing to even consider that, because I think Christmas is a neutral one, because you can do lots of families, but Ramadan and Islam, like, you know, they're going to get backlash. So I think they deserve a few props. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so they already had my props for having the advert in the first place. So let me just clarify my statement, because like, sure, I'm not saying that we should have, like you just said, like, why are we getting crumbs and we should have the whole cake? Like, this is not what I'm saying at all. We have the advert, that's great. But on the flip side, you're actually not like lying in the bed that you've made, because you have the advert, and obviously, like I said, if you've made 3, that means you want them to be like over the Christmas period. And the third advert, which I am hoping, I presume, and I'm hoping, wishful thinking, that it is an Asian family.
It's an all-white family.
Advertisement.
It's white boy cousins.
How do you know that, Sophie?
If you look online, you can see all 3 of the adverts. And one is a black family, one is a family, I think it's a grandmother and someone, and the last one are 2 boy cousins.
Okay, well, that not that it sucks, but I was really hoping for. I just thought that would have been brilliant if you had like a white family, a black family, and an Asian family. I thought it would have been a great representation of Britain. Again, the third one didn't come out 48 hours after the second one, and it obviously none of them has made as much noise. I just think that you can do it and not backpedal. There's absolutely no need to backpedal, and so you like. The damage control, like you said, was them putting out the advert just to remind white people that they still want them to shop at their stores. But
I think we're being tough.
I don't know if I would. I don't
you
know
guys
if
are just happy there's a black person in the advertisement, like
no,
and also
it's,
with the
that's
Tesco.
not in Luanda.
The Tesco.
It's not.
I don't know if I think it's I don't know if I think it's backpedaling. I just want to be one of those naive people, if that's what you would like to call it, that would like to believe that this was their plan of how they were going to roll out the videos all along, and that was just what their intentions were.
One advertisement and then 48 hours after that, another one, Anissa. That's usually how it works.
I don't know their marketing strategy, Luanda. I'm not on their marketing team. I can't say these things for certain. I really can't. And especially since they posted a lot of these advertisements first to Twitter, and that's different. Usually you go to TV first and then bring it to the internet. So I'm thinking, I don't know what their strategy was this year. I can't say it for certain, but I would like to believe. Do I think that they are very cautious of the backlash and that they are treading very lightly as not to upset their racist customers? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do think I don't know if I think they're backpedaling. I don't know if I want to say it. And I just would like to add as well, I'm someone who used to shop in Sainsbury's. I don't anymore because it's not my local. I did really enjoy Sainsbury's, but I need them to bring the prices down. Then I can enjoy it. and then I'll go with them.
I love that. Also on the Tesco thing, so it's actually not that it didn't actually happen in that order. So when I heard about the Tesco thing, I thought that it happened after the Sainsbury's advertisement, but it didn't.
No, it didn't. It didn't. It happened in October. Yeah.
The advert was out in October, but it only became trending after the Sainsbury's thing. But again, like the woman was saying, and okay, so the thing that was probably my favorite thing about the Gravy Song advert was the fact that it was an actual black family, because most of the time when we have black British representation, they only ever fit us into an interracial family. So you'll most likely have a black dad and a white mom and biracial kids, and that's like the commercially most accepted version of what a black family is, instead of actually just having, us in our whole variety. Sometimes you have two dark-skinned black people who have a family, all three of us are from those households. So it's nice to see that. And someone even commented on that, on the Sainsbury's one. And again, so the model from the Tesco's ad said the same thing. She said, I'm usually with a white husband, and I was just very excited to be cast with a black man playing my partner. And it was a shame that it got cut from the end result of the advertisement. And, Tesco came back with the percentages, and they said, we have this amount of black people in our love stories, and this amount of the black people in the love stories are leads, and all of those things were happening. So I think that sometimes with stories, when something's going, when you have like a snowball effect, people just throw in everything to get the attention of it. So that story, again, it was from a month ago. It wasn't as a result of Sainsbury's having that ridiculous backlash. It was actually just, something that happened, but
her being cut out of the advert wasn't. So she has just recently talked about being cut from the advert, because they're saying since Sainsbury's happened, that's when she's been cut. So saying you might have seen some edits of it, but she was saying she has now been cut completely from it, and she's saying she attributes it to Tesco saying
the phone. So wait, they played the original version with her in October,
yes,
and then they've cut it now and changed it without her
because she said it's been re-edited.
Oh.
Were
any of you guys surprised that the Sainsbury's advert got that much backlash?
Not at all. Not at all. When people say things, go
ahead.
I was going to say, when people say things like, because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, this is the case of what's going on in the United Kingdom, this is what's going on. I'm like, we've been knowing I'm black. We've been knowing. What we're seeing now, I don't think we're seeing anything different. Social media allows us to interact with the racist. That's what I'm seeing here. So for me, it's not even about saying, oh, this is what's going on, Britain is still racist. It's for us to encourage companies with our dollars and our pounds to say, if you're going to do this, we are still going to shop in your shop, and we're not going to make up the massive percentage, but we support you in this, because it takes balls to do this for real when black people are not the major majority in this country, and they could just cater to the white people. They could do it, but them taking a step out there, we need to encourage more big brands to do it. So I really hope Sainsbury's isn't put off in the long term.
I hope so as well, because like we've all agreed, it was a great advertisement. I can't say that, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I found it so funny. Like, this is the kind of racism that I can laugh at. Like, this is the kind of racism that I just like enjoy because I find it so ridiculous. And I read this great article by a woman called Funmi, who wrote an article for The Independent, and she said that she kind of stated that the fear that people have when watching this advert was being treated like a minority. And then she pointed out the irony of that, because these are the same people who are going to tell us that there's nothing to complain about in England anymore. There's no racism in England anymore. So you'll tell us that there's no racism in England on the one hand, and that highly melanated people are complaining about nothing. And then on the other hand, have this irrational fear of actually being treated like a minority, because actually you recognize that minorities in the UK are mistreated. So I don't know. I just find it silly. I mean, people were tweeting like definitely not a white Christmas, and I just thought, like, you just sound ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I wasn't offended. It's like, I'm not shocked, but I'm also not offended. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Loved it. Love it.
I did.